Welcome to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I'm your host, Debbi DiMaggio. We are here today with Erica Wolfe. Erica is coming to us from Jupiter, Florida, and I'd like to bring her in. Thank you so much for joining us, Erica.
Thank you so much for having me, Debbie.
We're so excited to hear all about it. After I read your bio, I don't know how you do it, but I guess women are just they rise up. They rise up just like you have. So I'm going to formally introduce you and then we'll get started. Erica
Sounds
Wolfe,
great.
dubbed the Wolf of Real Estate, is a dynamic real estate agent turned entrepreneur, building a thriving agency while inspiring others to break barriers. As a teen mom, she balanced two jobs and two kids, diving into real estate in 2008 to create a better life. From expertly crafted digital ads and geo farming strategies to streamlined systems that make real estate magic happen. Erica has mastered the art of marketing in the modern age. Early, she turned Facebook videos of her hustle into a lead generating powerhouse. Since Wolfe Realty's inception in 2017, Wolfe has been passionate about empowering women in a male dominated industry, leveraging systems to build wealth, and sharing her healing journey to inspire others. I love this quote that your team member sent to me. According to the National Association of Realtors, NAR, approximately 80% of real estate agents fail within their first 5 years. On top of that, a large percentage leave the industry after just 1 year. Yet over 60% of the industry are women, a 20% increase since 2020. And yet women are less represented. Why is that? So I'd like to bring you on, Erica, and let's hash some of this out. First of all,
Okay.
um, I can't even imagine. We'll get into how you did it raising children as a teen mom, but I want to first start how you got into real estate. Some of our guests started out as teachers. I had one who was in the police force and on a SWAT team. One was a fitness owner. So they've come from all different, and some came from right out of college. So how did your journey begin in real estate?
well, I never really had the normal teenage jobs. As a teenager in high school, I worked at a bank. And then from that, one of the clients of the bank was an insurance agent, and she asked if I would come on and be her assistant. So I did that and then got my insurance license, and quickly realized I was really good at selling insurance. And then that was, I would say, probably 2007. You start looking at the settlement statements that are needed, and I'm seeing those commission checks to the real estate agents. And at this point, um, almost on my second kid, 2008, I had my second child. I was like, I need more money quicker, not what this is. So I got my real estate license. I did both, insurance and real estate, until about 2010 when I went full time real estate. And kind of an odd path to it, but haven't looked back since.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And how old are your kids today?
19 and 17. So I'm basically an empty nester, and now re exploring what this means.
Exactly. That was a tough time for me. So how could you give tips for other women to break into and thrive in male dominated fields, both elsewhere and in real estate? Because you certainly did it.
Um, well, a lot of psychology goes into in my area, most of the male agents who are super successful and female, but we're speaking on the males. Um, I realize I never go to bat with them. Stroking the ego goes a long way. And we get a lot of transactions done that way. They all love to work with us. But for that, I was never trying to like prove anything. I just was a know-it-all in the sense that I learned everything I could about contracts. I went on to every education course. Some would call me a course junkie. I just wanted to know exactly what I was talking about. And then the psychology part of it all, I would say about a decade ago, really leaning into that, and learning the art of negotiating, and men versus women, right? And how things are handled. And it's worked with clients well and other agents.
What kind of, I love that. It's so true. It's especially when you're getting started. I think a lot of people, it takes them forever to get their license, and they get their license and they think, oh, it's going to be so easy. And then they last a year because they're not implementing, and they're not training themselves, and they're not taking the courses. So I just want to say what you did by immersing yourself in courses was so great, and obviously helped you to get where you are. It laid a foundation. Tell us, how did you study for the psychology part of it? I don't hear that a lot. It's clearly in our business, but you hear of the, more of the schooling or books, but not the psychology, which is so crucial.
Yeah, no, I think I realized when I was playing therapist in the car, right? Back then, we used to have the buyers in the cars, and you're like really
Yes.
realizing that you're leaning in. I'm like, I don't know how to advise these people in their life. Like, why are they asking me this question? Um, and I started reading, and then when podcasts came about, tuning into the podcast, and now I love to get my information from TikTok. And I know everyone's going to kill me, but I love like the 30-second drops of information that I can take away. But I mean, it's just looking at behavioral psychology is basically what I go through. And then relationships, a lot of relationships psychology, I would say over the past 3 years, I've tuned into. Probably just because of what I was going through myself, but it was
Right.
interesting to learn that.
Absolutely. Did you have mentors that you were looking up to, or that you were working with, in your real estate and insurance business?
Yeah. So honestly, one of my first mentors was my mentor, and I didn't even realize he was a client, an investor that I got from doing short sales and foreclosures. He was a Canadian buyer, and he owned multiple businesses, and so for some reason we just made a connection, and we'd go look at these homes, and he would educate me. You know, he was a Harvard grad and would give me kind of the fast track to business. He really was one of my first mentors. And then the agent that Mary Beth, who started me in insurance, she was a great businesswoman as well. And then from that, I think you find mentors here and there that'll pick you up and give you little pieces. But those two were probably the most impactful for me, for sure.
Absolutely. It's funny. You don't even realize who your mentors were until you're asked later down the
Yes.
road, because
Yeah.
it's just right. It sounds like from what you just said. And now when I go back, I'm like, wow, I had so many, but it wasn't like, oh, you are my mentor. It was just like, you just take all this great knowledge from these people who stepped in when you needed them, or when you didn't even know you needed them, like your investor client.
And I think that
That's awesome.
really having the hindsight of it all now is what has been impactful for me to take the approach with other agents and for my team members. I say just teach them. Like if they're coming into the transaction and they clearly don't understand what they're doing, obviously it's not your responsibility. But how nice would it be if all of the agents surrounding us did know what they were doing? It'd make our job easier. And if you have the time, teach them,
Abs-
show them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always tell new agents, don't worry about what you don't know. Just say, I'll get right back to you. Call us. We'll give you the information, and you can go right back to your client. It's not rocket science. It's just really about learning, whatever it is, whatever your job is. You're not going to know every answer. So yeah, I love that you give back to women, or I mean, men too, but
Yeah, and I think it leans into the statistic of the first 3 years, right? And my thought process was the first 3 years of this industry, I didn't go to college, was paying for my education, right? Like
mm,
how much can I learn and how quickly to actually make this a full-time career? And I just wanted to do it as quickly as possible, and that happens through learning. And I think a lot of agents think, they're going to be making the same that an agent who's 10 years in is going to. And it's like, no, 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 no. They paid for their education those first 3 years. You just got to stick through it. You got to stick through that 3 years.
absolutely. So what advice do you give to a new agent starting out, because they're coming in, it's basically like, here's your desk and go to it. So what 5 things you tell a new agent to do?
Treat it like a full-time job as best as you can. Obviously, you still have to have an income, but as best as you can, please treat it like a full-time job, because I'm not going to call you after something happens in a transaction and update you and let you know how I handled it. But if you're in office, I'll probably put my phone on speaker so you can hear the entire thing of how it was handled and what
Mhm.
happened. And you're going to learn a lot quicker. Um, that's my first thing. Figure out how to use social media, lean all in on the social media. Um, don't be a secret agent, be a real estate agent. And I know you asked for five, but I think those are my three go tos.
Okay. So how do
Yeah.
you so how are you okay, so how are you getting your business? How does Erica get new business?
So most of our business is done through farming, whether it be digital or print mailing at this point. But I started out just social media, and then learned how to do the paid ads behind all of our content, and then shifted our content to the mindset of how most businesses outside of real estate do it, is what are our commercials, where are our value propositions, and I'm so happy to spend $5 a day on each video, putting that in front of my neighbors, basically. 15-mile radius is what you have to do on Meta. And so
Okay.
we um, typically hone in on just a 15-mile radius, but we hit it hard. We typically have anywhere from 18 to 23 ads a day running based upon how many
Wow.
listings we have. And again, $5
Okay.
a day for those. And then we have about 5,800 homes that we do our mailers to, and they'll get 2 to 3 postcards a month on that. So
Wow.
that's
That's
typically where they get it from.
That's amazing. So I know a lot of people don't want to spend the money, but in order to make money, you have to spend money. And this is great. So 2 to 3 postcards a month. That is amazing. That's a lot. And then you said so, and the paid ads, because I've never done that. So I'm taking notes. I've been doing this for over 35 years, or over 30 years, close to 35. So 18 to 30 ads you're running. We have to go to commercial break. We'll be right back, but I want to pick up the 18 to 30 ads and what are you saying? So we'll be right back with Erica Wolfe in Jupiter, Florida. Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. I'm here with Erica Wolfe. She is in Jupiter, Florida, sunny Jupiter, Florida. And we were just talking about where her and her team, Wolfe Realty, get their leads and their business. And I've been doing this for over 30 years and I haven't implemented these things that she's talking about. So I really wanted her to spend some time and break it down. She uses Meta ads. So is that Facebook and Instagram?
Correct. And then they have some third party websites that they're linked to as well that they
Okay. And then you
focus on.
create 18 to 30 ads a month. and you do it with, and it's $5 a day, and you do it, is it 15 miles to 30 miles or just 15-mile
I do
radius?
15-mile radius, and you can do a different dollar amount. For some reason, I'm just stuck to the $5 a day, and
Yeah.
I've always stuck to it. Obviously, if you put more behind, you'll get more views on that. Um, but
What are your ads? So
sorry,
give us, and you don't have to give us 30 ads, but give us some ideas for me.
no, so that's what I was going to say. So I know it seems like a lot, but it matters how many listings we have, right? So out of those, there's probably only 3 to 5 of them that are truly like I would call commercial style, that are,
Okay.
pitching to sellers, pitching to buyers, or asking for a home evaluation, right? All of the others are going to
Okay.
be listing videos for home tours because that's what we pitch in our marketing plan, that every home gets a video and gets the ads. But, as we've learned over the years, the home tours and listing videos, they will find you buyers, but they really do market yourself. So you have all of these. Typically, we have around, I think it's like 56,000 viewers, and that's basically the size of my town, that 15-mile radius. They're seeing you with multiple homes.
I love it. And so, and these are usually video. Are they always videos? Are they all video ads?
All videos, yes, because videos you're able to retarget and then to keep putting ads in front of them. So we're always video
Wonderful. I love
first.
it.
Mhm.
Awesome. I love it. And then you have 2 to 3 postcards. Just give us an idea of what you're sending in your postcards for the audience.
So one set of mailers, just the print of them, is around 1,300, and then the stamps, the EDDM, is around like 950. So 5,800 homes. Um, what's the rough math on that? I should have added this 2,700. Oh, someone's going to kill me if I'm off on that. No, I'm definitely off on that. I said 1,309.
No.
I'm sitting here. So 30, 31. No, 32. I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. No, 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 no. I was just saying
32.
what you were putting. I'm sorry, not financially, but so you're mailing to about 5,800
Oh,
homes, and
correct.
and then your ads are about. Is it just listed, just sold, or what are you putting in those postcards?
So our big monthly one shows everything that is currently for sale and everything that's sold within that farm area, right? That community.
Okay.
Um, where we always send to, and then we send ones with a market update, and then yeah, typically it's just a just sold. But my thing is, and I've proven time and time again, a postcard that has just sold and being mailed to the neighbors one time, you're typically never going to get business on that, and it's a waste of money, in my
Right.
opinion.
Yeah.
So our strategy is we don't send the just sold unless you're in that 5,800 homes. If that home is within that, then we send the just solds, because I just want everybody saying our name. It's been said that you have 13 times before somebody remembers your name after seeing it. My whole goal is how quickly can I get them to see my name 13 times so they remember it. And most of our
That's
postcards get
awesome.
thrown away. I always say it's like a journey to the trash, but I'm like hoping hoping they
They're
look at it
looking at it
as they do it.
before.
Yes.
Exactly. But what I had a agent once, he asked me to co-list a property with him, and he kept asking me how much we were going to spend on the advertising. And I said, it doesn't, we have a high end house. So if we had a lower end house, you're not going to spend as much because there's not as many, it's not as beautiful. So there's not going to be as much opportunity. But when you have a really great listing, that listing will last forever. The photographs, all of the content. We were in a magazine. I said, I don't put dollar for dollar per house. It's just when you have an opportunity, you really go for it. So
Mhm.
with the postcards, as you were saying, you're doing postcards, but you're also video, and people are seeing Erica Wolfe and Wolfe Realty over and over again. So it's not like because you spent whatever you did on postcards that made that lead and that sale. They probably saw you on a bench ad, or they saw you walking down the street, or at an open house. So it's just important
It's
to
all the
have a lot of
things.
balls in, right? Yeah, exactly. Is there any other tools or systems you use to scale your agency? And your company and yourself?
I mean, not necessarily for scaling. We're very systematized and process. We have a standard. So every agent, we're a small team. There's 8 of us total. Is trained in
Oh,
the processes and the way that we do it. And we have, you're not allowed to waver from our marketing plan. You're not allowed to waver from um, having the TC do everything. So it's just a set of standards, I think. So
mhm.
reviews and word of mouth goes a long way. So
Absolutely. Are you really good about getting your reviews after you close a deal?
we are. Yes, we
I could
are.
see that. I'm only starting to get better at that, but I could see you're very, very systematized, which I love. And I think that also comes with when I started, there was no internet. So we did not have social media. So it's
Yeah,
very different. So it's so great. I know a lot of people that have been in the business like me a long time. Some of them who didn't want to embrace social media, that you have to. It's a must. And I love that. Yeah, don't be a secret agent. You have to be out there. There's too many of us, right? There's too many agents out
yes.
there, and if you're not out there and available, they're not going to find you. Tell us how your personal story, and I don't know how you did it, balancing motherhood and your business and overcoming challenges. I mean, this is a whole podcast on its own. So share some of your
Well,
insights as Superwoman.
Lord, when I tell people, when I get in the zone of trying to tell people about my life, I kind of am an open book and will just spill it all out real quickly without realizing how much trauma and how crazy most of it sounds. And I'm like this, then this, then this, then this. So I'll spare you on all of that. But I think the biggest thing is when your back's against the wall, it's amazing what you can do, right? So there was no other option but to succeed in it. So that's what I did. And I think because of some of the crazy things that have happened, let's say just even from having my children on to today, has provided me with a lot of empathy for a lot of people in situations that goes hand in hand with my career. Whether it be estates, whether it be divorces, like it goes. It touches people. So I understand. Whereas
Right.
before, I think if my life was easy and pretty and great, um, I, I think it would be hard to have some empathy for people going through it. So yeah, I mean, you just do it. You put your pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else, and go for it.
Right. And just make it happen. Absolutely. So tell us about the importance of community focus in your business.
Um, well, that started. I don't think there's a police officer in our town that I haven't sold a house to.
Oh,
When
wow.
prices started increasing in our area, um, I realized that raises weren't happening to the police department, and I just happened to have one client that luckily he bought when he bought, or else he wouldn't have been able to. And so I ended up going to a town council meeting and asking for a raise for the police officers because I realized they hadn't had a
Oh,
raise in
wow.
like 7 years, but the cost of
I love
living had gone up so substantially. And I said, "Don't you want, because we have such a beautiful town," and I'm like, "Don't we want our officers living here when they're paid to protect it? Won't they be more like
it.
protective, right? If they live here, if they can't even afford to
Right.
live here, they're going to think we're little snobby
Absolutely.
people that like, no, they should be able to. So, that kind of somebody posted a video on social media, not me, and it went viral within my community, I should say,
Mhm.
and did really well. And then because I'm a native in my town, I am really against overdevelopment. I think the parcels should be purchased for what they're allowed to do. I don't like variances given, and I make a joke within our town. I was like, if we're going to give anyone a variance, it's Chick-fil-A because we don't have a Chick-fil-A. I like, aside from that, no one gets a variance. So I was really big with the town council um, and speaking out against overdevelopment. And most people, I would say my age, aren't aware of what's going on and what the town councils are voting on. So it was easy for me to bring it to social media And then I did another platform where I pitched the town that they should have transparency and be posting on social media. So they hired a social media person so we can all actually
Wow.
know. We mail it with the water bill. I'm like, most people pay online, like they don't realize. So that was big for my community. But I think just because I'm a native to where I am, I did what I think was, or still think what is right.
Right. That's amazing. And what's also amazing about what you did is you were vocal, where a lot of times realtors have to be neutral, and you were very vocal. So it could have gone
Mhm.
either way, but you stepped up. And so people probably commend you for that. And the police certainly did. And you have a whole niche there.
Oh man, if I get
Was
pulled over for speeding, they let me off like no problem. It's gone to my head.
I know. One time I was one of my in our very small town, our cousin was the one on the police force, so everyone knew us. And so one day, the kids, it was a lacrosse party, and I guess I was not parked correctly. So someone said, "Mrs. DiMaggio, your car is getting ticketed." So the kids run out with me, and I said, "Oh, I'll move. I'm sorry." He said, "Oh, Mrs. DiMaggio, it's okay. Um, that's okay." And then he didn't give me a ticket. And the kids are like, I want that. Yeah, it,
That's amazing
it does help to know people in the right places. So I
for
love
sure.
that. Yeah, when I was reading about community, so I do a lot of community service, and we were charity. I helped work with a lot of children's charities, so it was fun to hear your community and what that meant to you. So that was fun to hear a new perspective. So with that, were there? Obviously, we can see all the great benefits that you have done for the community on no variances and speaking out. But were there any negative things that came out of that, getting involved with the community, that and how you overcame it,
Yeah,
if there was?
yeah, I'm sure. I don't think there's an overcoming of it. It's just ignoring it, right? Like, not everyone is
Right.
gonna like me, and I think when you become confident in who you are, you're fine with that, right? Like, I mean, people are allowed to have different opinions and views, and that's what makes it great. So,
Yeah, that's true. So, what is one of your stories of a deal you're working on, a transaction, working with your client? What was one of the most memorable in a good way? We can talk about challenge on the next question, but one of your most memorable experiences you had,
there's been
positive.
so, yeah, no, I mean,
Right.
there's been so many. But I mean, I guess one, just because I saw it last night, was so cute. Um, oh, she happens to be married to a police officer, but I worked with more her. She posted a little like carousel online, and because we send home anniversary cards, every home anniversary, she goes and takes a picture in front of her house. So it started just the house,
Oh,
then it started both of them, then it started both of them and their daughter, and then it started both of them, their daughter, their dog. And then the next one was like both of
wow.
them, the dog and two kids now. And I was just like, oh my God, that is so sweet. Like, you don't realize, like, you're, when you match people. And then I guess just the journey of like, she was somebody I said, no, you're going to buy this house. And she's like, I don't know. I'm like, no, no, no. For what you said you want in your life, like, this is the house for you. And so
Yeah.
to see like they're still so happy there, right? And now they're raising a family and growing there. Like, they're not going to move for the next 20 years out of that house, you know? Like,
Right.
it's
Right.
um that was
They're
cute.
building a life there. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great story. I love it. That is just, yeah, it's amazing. I just got a text the other day. From, they started out as a couple, as and then married, and now a baby, and it's amazing to watch people's families grow, and that you had a little part of it, and it just, I don't know. I guess you always, as a mother, I always feel like a mother to all of these clients, no matter what their age and my
Yes.
age.
Yeah.
It
Well,
feels
and I'm
really
like,
good.
man, I've better. I better not stop the home versary cards, or else you won't know what day to go take a photo. So, yeah.
You're like, oh my God, yes, I love that home anniversaries. So, what are some biggest challenges you faced? I mean, just having kids as a teen mom is big enough, but in some of your real estate deals or just over the years, what are some of your biggest challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
I mean, in real estate, well, so I guess the biggest thing was because I did start when I was 21. It was to be taken seriously. Um, and I think around like age 27, 28, I finally like broke into bigger deals and like was taken more seriously. So that was during that season was obviously very, very, very challenging. Um, but I mean, the hardest thing I think is just when an agent wants to fight because they're not getting their way. And at the end of the day, we're just supposed to be representing our clients. We have to speak what they need and what they want. And I still end up with agents that are, I like to say, throwing hissy fits, and they think that's going to change. And I'm like, why? Why are we getting so stressed out over this? Like, it doesn't have to be this stressful. Um, I think
Right.
it's still like my biggest challenge to this day that I haven't really found a true overcoming. Like I just slow down and speak quieter when they start like throwing the hissy fit, but I'm like, okay, like I can't make them accept a different number. like, like I'm
Right.
trying, but it's situations like that that I would say probably once a month we still battle. So if anybody listening or watching has tips and tricks, I would love that.
Well, what I say, because I remember working on a transaction and the person, because of phones, because of text, people don't pick up the phone. So my number one rule is please pick up the phone because you don't know what the feeling behind the message is. And you don't know the
Absolutely.
story. You don't know what the agent's going through. You don't know what the seller or buyer's going through. So at this one point, we were working on a deal, and I had to call the broker to say, can you please just have her call me? She's not in any trouble. I mean, I just want to have a conversation so I can get to know, but she will not pick up the phone. So she called me and I said, I apologize for calling, your broker. She's a friend of mine. And I just wanted to find out what was going on. When I learned what was going on and where the buyer's father who was guiding her was from, it made sense because my market in California, Northern California, my market in LA, and your market, I know nothing about. We all have different ways of doing business. And
Yes.
so once we had that conversation, that just little piece of communication, we overcame it. And so I think number one, communication is so important in picking up the phone. The other thing is to answer your question. I've been doing this for a long time. So the other thing I could offer advice is um, you were saying is that the deal isn't between you and me. The deal is between the
Correct.
buyer and seller. We're the facilitator. We don't sell. We're not going
Yep.
to sell someone a house. We'll facilitate the process. And so by you telling that other agent, it's not between us. It's this is the information I was given and I'm relaying that to you. So there's no need for us to argue. It's not our battle. So for
Yeah.
whatever that is
Well,
worth.
and yeah, no, that's great. And I think, a lot of times I definitely try to get what is going on and what's the story because if you can get a whole picture, if it's an agent that doesn't know that much of what they're doing, like you may have a solution around it, right? And so that's the biggest thing in like the transparency of it all. And I do try to hold that like close to my hip when, they're throwing a fit. I'm like, yeah, I just got to get the full story for them. They just don't know what they're doing. They
Exactly.
have no other solution but to panic, like to straight panic. So,
Right. It's like you said, a hissy fit, or it's just a stubborn child. It's like, but
yeah,
if we can communicate, as a parent does, right? You're communicating, you're trying to communicate with your child, you're trying to, have a conversation. It's really about conversations and communication. And that's one of the reasons why I think AI can't take us over is
No.
because it's just too personal. It's emotion, it's psychology, it's hand holding. So with that conversation of AI, let's jump into that. I'm sure you're using it. I love it. How are you implementing AI in your business?
Listing descriptions are really huge for us. We used to have a one sheet. Well, it's used to be a one sheet. It's like 100 sheets now, but it has every listing description I ever wrote, and it's like in the format and how I like it. And like Zillow, um, it has a certain SEO in the first two sentences of the listing description. So my first two sentences may not make sense to people like reading it, but it has all of the key features real quickly, because if you were to go on Google and type in, for example, Jupiter home workshop, you could have it somewhere else in the paragraph, but it wouldn't be the first one that pops up on the Google search on Zillow's platform. But if you put these, I call them the SEO keywords, in the first paragraph, they get higher. But I've always hated the way it was. So we gave AI like why I do it this way. And we have different listing descriptions, obviously, for brochures, for Zillow, for this, for that. And it was able to make these like magnificent listing descriptions that are so SEO heavy, that they're ranking better on
Wow.
Google. Like that's just the start of it. But we've built out bots, and we've had them study all of our videos, well, my videos, as well as some of the other agents who are heavy in video that I really respect, and like their format of their videos I like. So we had it learn it. So now when we go to a listing shoot, we put in the key points of the house, and it pulls a script in my tone and the way I would like to
Wow.
talk, with keywords. So I don't have to sit there and rack my brain full of adjectives, to describe this house. And it's like, well, I'm on my sixth listing shoot this week, and I've already said, you know, amazing open space. I'm like, I don't want to say that again.
Right.
Like I can't keep saying the same thing. So
Right.
that has been really impactful for our business.
That's amazing. So the ducks were
Oh,
chirping and I
I'm
couldn't hear
sorry.
what you said. No, I just want to go back to what you said. So you're asking the SEO in like ChatGPT, or
Yeah,
would
so
you
we
put in a
built
description
out
and you say,
so we built out different bots, is what they're called within ChatGPT.
oh,
And it's once you
okay.
have an operator program within ChatGPT, and you basically tell it the whole purpose of anytime I input anything in here, here's what you're going to put out for me. So I don't have to say like I need a listing description or I need a video script. I say here are the home details, and it within whatever bot we're in, it'll make it. So it's been programmed basically, to have it.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go to commercial break. We're gonna come right back, and you're gonna tell me where on my phone or in ChatGPT I find this bot. We'll be right
Okay.
back with Erica Wolf. Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Real Estate. We are here with Erica Wolfe of Wolfe Realty. She is in Jupiter, Florida, and we are going to have a tutorial. We've never done this before because a lot of it kind of, it's people's experiences, but in their history. But we are going to have a Chat GBT SEO, how to maximize your brochures and your descriptions and your listings. So Erica, I'm taking out my notes, and I'm going to take a lot of notes
Okay.
as you have 20 minutes. So I'd want to go through this and
Okay.
understand it all. We don't need to gloss over it. I think this is really key.
So, within you have to be signed in to ChatGPT, and
Okay.
in the top left corner, and I do this ChatGPT normally from my desktop. You're going to program a prompt that you will always use, and you can go in depth and like you're going to say, I need listing descriptions based off of high SEO keywords. Here's a couple examples of my current listing descriptions. Make this better. They'll make it better. It'll give you a couple scenarios. You say which one you really like and say, this is my favorite. Now, whenever I give you um, uh, not components. When I list items about the house, I would like you to structure a listing a listing description in this format from here on out, and it saves it. And then so on your left side on the desktop, you'll have, or on the mobile, there is a little caret. You can toggle on and off within your bots so that you no longer have to prompt it anymore. It is programmed with those prompts, right? So how you get it to
Okay.
study people is you can ask it to study your social media channels. You can ask it to study friends channels. I typically like to just put in URLs of the videos I like, and or download a video and upload a video to it when you're building this out and say, remember this for the future. This is the format that I want. It's then you can put in some keywords that are describing a property, and it can spit out a script for you. And you can say, I don't like that. I want this. And you're basically just programming it to then be able to use for future use. So we have one that is like client responses. I have scripts. I have listing descriptions, one for website and then one for MLS. And then what's our other bot? Community market
Zillow, I
leader.
think.
Yeah, but then we have another bot for community market leader that will have stuff for Jupiter and Tequesta, information that we ask it to pull, and it's to be able to make sure anything we write about the community has our initial prompts in it.
Okay.
So it's just really to build out a bot, you want to think about what things are you always asking ChatGPT to do for you, and then you can finally stop giving it the prompts and you just toggle on and off of those bots.
And so I couldn't see it on my phone, but when you said, I think you said on the right, does it say the word
Top
bot?
left.
Top left, it'll
Top
say the word
left.
bot.
Yeah, you'll program.
And then
Yeah.
you toggle it on and off when you're working on that specific thing.
Yeah, you can just be in your normal chat GPT or you can toggle on into, one of the programmers and or bots and get it done.
And then you mentioned, so do you take a video, like if I took your video from your Instagram and I popped it
Yep.
into ChatGPT and said, I like this format, what will it do? It'll come out with my listing, or what will
You
it
know,
do? What am I asking?
you're gonna say, I want you to watch these videos, or whether it's a video, and I'm looking
Okay.
to duplicate these, and have you write scripts for me on my own homes. And then it may ask you for details of your home, whatever prompt it has back to you, and you reply. But then you don't. The point is, once it learns and saves that that's the way you want to do something, there in the future, it will always be saved.
I love it. That's so exciting. I love learning new things. That is fabulous. So I am visual. So I see you. You're in Jupiter. I've been to Miami. I've been to Palm Beach.
I'm
I've been to South
minutes north
Beach.
of Palm
But where
Beach.
are you? You what?
Yeah, 10 minutes north of Palm Beach.
Oh, okay. So you're 10 minutes. So tell us
Yeah.
about your community. Is it where do your buyers come from? Where do your sellers go? And who kind of lives in Jupiter? And tell us a little bit
Um,
about why we would like it.
Yeah, so Jupiter really took a boom in the 80s as their first boom with Pratt and Whitney and FPL, Florida Power and Light, so an engineering firm and an electric firm. So we were full of engineers back then. And then really, I want to say the late 1990s, early 2000s, like Celine Dion moved there. We started getting some celebrities because we have aqua blue water. Um,
Wow.
and yeah, we have gorgeous waterways and a lot of waterways. And then I would say around like 2005, 2006, a lot of golfers really started moving here. We've always had some golfers, but I think Jupiter right now has 38 professional golfers. I'm not a sports person, but I do know like where a good amount of them live because I'm a real estate person. But
All right.
yeah, so we have it's affluent now. Um, and where people come from, if they are coming, is typically we have like a good amount of Massachusetts and New York, but we've stayed pretty local. The Jupiter's people typically don't leave. They typically don't unless retirement time and cashing out of the house. You'll see them go to like a North Carolina, maybe a South
Mhm.
Carolina, you know.
Right. And do you are good schools there for raising families? Are there families there
Great
or single
schools,
people? Great.
great schools, family aged. I mean, well, Trump's grandkids go to Jupiter Christian, the only private school in Jupiter. Like it's a very, yeah, it's a family friendly area. I would say that I do know people that'll leave to try to go, meet different people. The dating scene isn't too popping, and then come back to have their family. It's not a
A little
city; it's
bit
a
of a
town.
sleepy commute. Yeah. Right,
Hmm.
right. And so how far, so what colleges are nearby? What airports do people fly in and out of, just to give us a visual of where exactly you
So
are?
Palm Beach Airport, PBI, colleges. I mean, we have FAU, which is in Boca. And then typically, I know a lot will go to UF and FSU. My son's at UF, so he's Gainesville. He's 4 hours away. Florida is a big state, just like California, so we're just spread out.
Absolutely. And what are your favorite things about it? And what do you tell your buyers when they're coming from elsewhere? Take me through as a buyer. What if I'm new coming from
Yeah.
California?
So a couple things I like to ask is, do you like to say hi to your neighbors when you get off of work? Because then I know if they want more acreage, rural property, or do they want like a zero lot line community? And when I ask those two questions, nobody ever gives me a direct answer. But when I switched it to, do you like your neighbors saying hi to you when you get off of work? It opened it up to where people are like, actually, no, I'm done with working. I'd rather not. I'm like, all right, so you want a little more space in between the homes. All right. And then so I'm like going down, do you have any trucks? Because we have big trucks, then I know HOA, not HOA. What dogs do you have? Do you have any pit bulls, German Shepherd? Like I asked the no dog list. And then I'm like, all right, golfer, or do you like paddleboarding or boating or fishing? Like, what is your hobbies? And then I know, like, do they like to go off roading, like rural or in town by the beach, or on the water, right? If they're big boaters.
Right.
And I can kind of point them into the neighborhoods of like minded individuals.
Absolutely. So are there a lot of, I picture a lot of country club like developments there. Is that kind of the setup,
There
or there?
are we get a lot of people that want like a gated community, and I'm like, we have only four like
Oh,
single family home gated communities. We have some townhomes that are more gated too, but like membership communities, we have really high end ones with the courses, but there's four, and I mean it's starting out as 4 million in those typically. So it's like, you're not going to have a gate, but the town is so safe or the community is so safe. Like neighborhood
Right.
patrols like in action, so it depends on that. We sometimes have to show them that you want this home, you want this neighborhood, it's just missing the gate.
Okay. It's fun. Yeah, around where we are, there are no gates, but it's just very different. A little bit like Scottsdale, Arizona. I'd say it was probably more
Okay.
like Jupiter. So tell us, what do you, so there's so many apps out there. There's so many websites, so many programs. Do you use anything other than a calendar? Do you use any apps that you love or utilize, or, even if you don't, do you think find value in them? And how do you keep organized?
I am a person, I always try to strive for inbox zero on my email. I typically end most days around 8 or 9. So that to me is my running to-do list. Yeah, obviously Google Calendars. I and then social media, honestly. We use Trello for our business. That's all of our listing launch or active listings or pending listings. That's for all the marketing, but the marketing team really hones in on that. And then we have lists within Trello for what my assistant needs to accomplish every day, what the marketing team needs to, accomplish daily, weekly, monthly. And then, yeah, pen and paper really is my next best favorite.
I know. And did you say Trello? Is that what you said?
Trello. Yeah, because it's
Okay.
just easy to move the
I
cards to the
haven't.
next slot. Yeah,
Oh,
we're big
okay.
Trello.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know it. I've heard about it from someone else, but I don't know it. So tell us what Trello is, because I don't think everyone knows what that is.
It's similar to, like, I know other people use Monday or things like that. So I like to think of it as a visual corkboard. And
Okay.
when a property gets moved from coming soon to active to pending to sold, each one has a to-do list. So the second the card is transferred, we just had it set up this way. Tasks are added inside that photo of the house, the card, for it to be accomplished. To make sure we're letting everybody know that we sold this house, or letting everybody know this house is for sale. And we do the same thing with community videos and neighborhood content as well. There's a checklist that, so we're making sure it is posted everywhere, that we didn't miss anything.
Awesome. I love it. I think I tried to go on it once and then I got overwhelmed and then I jumped out of it. So
It can be
I commend
overwhelming
you
for
guys.
sure at first.
It's tough. So let's end with the next couple minutes. You must have a morning routine. You look
Oh, yeah.
healthy. You have to be healthy to be able to do what we do. So give us your morning routine and how you keep up with your busy team and your clients, of
So
course.
typically I wake up at, yeah, so typically I wake up at 5. However, I have been having the hardest time since going on vacation to Tahoe. I don't know why that time changed, and then winter, and then it was chilly here. It's more like 6 at the moment, but I'm working on getting it back to 5. I don't scroll. I don't go through my phone or anything. I make my coffee, start laundry, start the dishwasher. Then I journal or read, or sometimes both, whatever book I'm reading, for like 20 minutes. Have my coffee, wait for the sun to get up, and then right across is a state park from my house. So I get my 10,000 steps in. And
Wow.
then I typically do a story on my Instagram, and it's either about what I journaled, what I read about. That people, if I don't walk in the morning, the people on Instagram are in my DMs like, "Are you alive? Are you sick? What's wrong? Why aren't you on today?" Um, so they really hold me accountable at this point for it.
Yeah.
And then I also say that's when I check my calendar and I tell them what I'm doing for the day, because I do have a good amount of real estate agents that follow. So I tell them what we have going on for the day. And then I work and I try to leave the office. And this is probably from me having the kids. I really try to leave the office by 3 or 4. Now, when we were busy, slammed pandemic, I was leaving at 8, but I really do try to leave 3 or 4, and get to Pilates. I do Pilates like 4 days a week, and I go home and cook and try to turn my brain off if there isn't an event. But sometimes, there's an event, 5, 6 o'clock, a dinner or this. And I think now I'm going to start limiting those to maximum 2 a week, if not one, because I was finding myself getting a little burnt out. And I think that was adding to the cycle of not being able to wake up early enough.
Right. I love it. That's awesome. That is so great. And you have to take care of yourself in order to be everything for everyone at all times.
Correct.
And this is why we're well, thank you so much. How could we get a hold of you? How could we help you? I look forward to referring you. I do not know anyone in
Yeah.
Jupiter, Florida.
So,
And I want
Wolfe
to ask
Realty.
I'm sorry, Kim. Do you know Kim? Did you work with Kim Ritberg?
Mm-mm.
She's someone who follows you, and she's trying to help me with video. I hate doing video, and so I'm going to watch you. But she follows you. She was
Message.
one of, and she's a video coach. So I'm trying to get on video. So I'm going to watch yours and find some inspiration and try to do it. Okay, so let's go. How do we get in touch with you?
So Wolfe of Real Estate, but it's Wolfe with an E on every single platform, and it's my website. So Wolfe of Real Estate. You can find me and shoot me
I love
questions.
it.
I'm pretty good about answering.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Erica. It was so fun. And as soon
Thank
as I get done
you.
with my next 3 appointments, I'm going to go on ChatGPT, and Friday night, that's what I'm going to be doing, trying to learn how to create a bot.
You got it. Watch a YouTube video too. It's really easy. Once you realize what it is, you're gonna be like, oh, this is easy. You got this.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. Have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
weekend.
You as well. Thanks.
Thank you.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Real Estate with host Debbi DiMaggio. Here Fridays, noon Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network. Tune in to where real estate matters matter.